Alright, hey everyone. Today I'm making a video to show how I made my rifle featureless for California with all the new laws being passed. So I'm just going to show you, I thought that was the best route to go versus putting on a mag lock or even worse, registering your weapon. Doing this was very easy, didn't take too long, and overall I think it's a better alternative. But first I just kind of want to address the people that live at that are going to watch this or that always comment in videos like this about how, oh, don't comply, don't comply, like you don't need to comply or whatever. Then they're usually out of state people, kind of those idiot 3%ers that have never served in the military or served in law enforcement or any kind of situation where they had to put their necks out on the line, but they want to tell you like they're gonna go John Rambo if they see a gun law that they don't like get out of here. You guys are freaking idiots. For people in California, like you all know that weapons charges are not a joke and that they will screw over your life pretty bad if you're going to school or have a job where people look um, into your background and see if you have any kind of criminal activity. So don't screw up your lives by following some idiot's advice of not complying. And the same goes for people in California who push that too, like, oh, I'm not complying. I have my rifle regular, and they just keep it locked in the closet. Like, no, if you can't, if you don't feel comfortable doing something in front of law enforcement, like if you're not following the laws and you're saying you're not going to comply, but you never do it, but you only hide your stuff and you never do it in front of law enforcement, you're no different. It doesn't make you anything special. You're just a criminal like everybody else. And by sense of criminal, I mean like if you're not going to do it in front of law enforcement, you're not going to do it out in public, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Okay? That's just my opinion. All right? So let's just get started on this real quick on this kind of review or kind of me going over what I did. All right. So first off, the grip. I made a Kydex grip fin. I made it myself. I wasn't going to pay someone else to do it for me and we've all seen online with like the CQR Hera stock or some other stocks that keep coming out or being made where they're just kind of like taking this all and changing it out. But the price on those is usually the cheapest I've seen is 125. Some newer ones that are coming out are like $200. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying that much money for a stock that have no idea how people are gonna like it or how it feels, versus what I have now that I really like. Okay, so first I did is I got on Amazon. You just buy some Kydex. 12 bucks. 12 bucks for a 5-pack. You can make 4 more. I can make 5 more. All right. You can get some Kydex, get some screws. Same also on Amazon to screw them in place. And then you just need some scissors and your oven. Preheat that bitch to 255. Leave it in there for about 2 minutes, and you can be able to mold this any way you want. First, I would recommend is you put it on the tray, put it in the oven for a minute or two, and then you get some scissors. You cut the initial cut here so that you can put it up the pistol grip. All right, and that way you can gauge how you need to cut, because you're gonna need to it's gonna need to come up to here so that your thumb is not able to get around the actual pistol grip. Okay, then after that you can make cuts like here, all around. I still need to sand this. Obviously it's not perfect, so I still need to sand it. Okay, but once you do that and you get the shape that you really want, then again put it back in the oven till it's nice and malleable, and then you throw it back on. Make sure you have some gloves on, and then you wrap it around the grip and just really mold it in there. If you want, get some like vice grips or some pliers to really push it down on the sides. Okay, that helps too. And then after that, just hold it for a minute or two, and it's going to cool down, and it's going to go back to being rigid, and you're not going to be able to move it. After that, get a drill and just drill some holes down here and here, and then secure it down. All right. I guarantee this was not coming off. I can pull as hard as I can, and it's not coming off. It is secured. Okay. Very easy to do. You can still get a good grip on it if you don't do anything to it, like just the normal area right here. But I wouldn't really recommend it because it's not really that comfortable. So get a soldering iron and staple your gun or whatever it's called. I think it's called stippling. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, and just do it to the grip. Do it all around. I think I did a better job on the other side. I got the hang of it more on the other side. It feels really good. And once you do that, you can get a very, very good grip on your weapon. Like, see, I can still hold it I can still hold it even though my thumb is on this side. So you can still get a good grip. You can still hold it for reloads when you're doing those kinds of things. So I highly recommend stippling the grip, stippling the Kydex after you finish. Okay, soldering irons cost about a good one costs about $20 on Amazon. That's honestly where I got all of this stuff from to do this. So it's really cheap, cheaper than buying $125 stock. All right, for the next one, the CTR stock. So one of the things is you can't have a telescopic sight or not sight, telescopic stock, so which means you can't collapse it down or out, and no folding stock. Well, that wasn't really a big deal for me since I never fuck with my stock anyways. I always leave it in the second to last position. And I really love the CTR stock just because of the feel of it, and I put this pad on, the Magpul pad on there, which is really good. Feels great. So I didn't want to get rid of that, so I got the stock lock. The stock lock right there. So I'm not going to deny that I don't like the price of it. $35 for a little kind of bracket thing and a screw. I'm not going to deny that's like a little bit of a ripoff, because I'm sure it only cost them like a couple bucks to make this. But then again, the fact that I can just throw that in there in a couple minutes and I can revert it back to normal whenever I want, if I were to move out of state, I really like that, because I didn't want to drill and pin my stock. And I've seen videos, if you want to go that route, by all means. I wanted to make sure that what I did wasn't permanent. Okay, that's just me. But to get this on there, all you need to do is to get a roll pin, punch this one out, punch this pin out if you have a CTR, punch this pin out, and then just pull this off. It just comes right off. You might have to like force it a little bit, but it comes off, it's fine. And then after that, there's another pin in there. You punch that about halfway out. Once you do that, get some pliers and pull it out the rest of the way. Make sure you're holding down like your fingers right there, because this spring will want to shoot out. Okay, so just make sure you're covering that up so it doesn't go flying. Then after that, you're good. Just throw the stock lock in there, tighten it down, and you're good to go. It literally takes less than 10 minutes. Okay, it's very quick. All right, and then after that, well, it's fixed. It's a fixed stock. It's not going anywhere. It's on there secure. There is no wobble. If you have an MOE or CTR, you know there's wobble in there. After you put this in there, it's completely it's not even budging. Like, it's not going anywhere. So I'm fine with that, because I never mess with my stock, and this way I can revert it back to normal, because I still have the hardware here. If, say, I was in a different state, or they reversed the laws, or maybe even went normal laws in one day. Probably not, though. Okay, so that takes care of that. So the stock lock, $35. The Kydex and the screws, another $20. So for $55, I've made this portion of my rifle featureless, versus paying $125, anywhere to $200 for a new stock that's being made. And this way I prefer it, because I like the angle of my grip, and I like the CTR stock. Okay, so whatever route you want to go is up to you. They also make like the Monster Man grip, the Hammerhead grip. I don't really like the angle of those, and that's why I didn't want to get those. So I would prefer, if you ask my opinion, I think this is the better route and the cheaper route, because some of them are really, the prices went up after the law got passed, because people want to profit off of this, obviously, which is kind of fucked up, but whatever. I did this as a cheaper method. All right, now, but as we know, those aren't the only two things you have to change. Okay, you can't have a foregrip. Now, as far as I know, the CAG, because the CAG does not, the BCM CAG calisthenic angled grip is not a foregrip, because you can't actually get a good, pistol grip on there. It's more of a finger stop, and from what I've read on Cal Guns, the same applies to the Magpul forward angled grip. So, as far as I know, this is legal. I'll ask around. I'll find out if it's not. But either way, it's fine for me, because I still have the BCM rail covers, and once I get a good clamp on there, my hand's on there really good. I've never used the foregrips as a pistol grip, more for a hand stop anyways, so that's just me. And I know a lot of people may not even care about this part, because you're not supposed to have a flash suppressor either, or flash hider. I got this before the laws even came out, because I wanted it. This is the Atlas AR15 from Odin works. So it's a muzzle brake or compensator, which is within the law, because it's not marketed as a flash hider. It's not a flash hider. So this is what I put on the end of my barrel, and it should be good, and it's good. But obviously you're free to pick whatever you want as long as it's not a flash hider. So for most people, I think the fore end isn't a big deal. I think it's more of the back end of their rifles where they're going to have to do the changes. Because most people nowadays don't even put on a bird cage. They put on muzzle brakes and compensators just to get the best stable, just to get the least amount of rise on their rifle. So that's what I did. You're free to pick whatever you want. Just make sure, obviously, like I said, it can't be marketed as a flash hider. All right. Depending on how you feel about the forward grip, that's going to be on you. I was perfectly fine with putting on the CAG because I already had it. I actually already had it from a couple months back from when I free floated it. So as far as I'm concerned, it didn't really do anything, change anything on my rifle. Okay. The best part though about going featureless is, I think we can all agree, is that now you can finally have a regular mag release. Like, how awesome is that? If you've lived in California this entire time like me, because I was in the Marine Corps, so having a regular rifle, an M16, was awesome, and you could just hit the magazine release and just like a normal rifle should be, and it just comes out versus a stupid bullet button. The mag lock is an even worse idea in my opinion. I'm not going to break down my rifle from the pin, break it down shotgun style just to take out the magazine. No way. That is just no. Like, if you want to use your rifle in a self-defense situation, how would you ever use that in something like that in a self-defense situation? This is a lot better. This, going featureless and having a regular mag release, is the best way to go in my opinion. Okay, and now I kind of feel like my rifle's somewhat normal again, I guess, which is really nice. So yeah, I really can't say anything else other than just I honestly recommend to everyone in California to go featureless. All right, I think it's the best way to go. After only an hour or so, I just kind of like goofed around with it. Not goofed around, but like practice shouldering it and just manipulating the weapon around on my shoulder, get it nice and seated in my shoulder and everything. And honestly, after a couple minutes, after a half hour or so, I didn't even notice it. This isn't really a big deal for me. Like I said, you can still grab it. You can still shoulder it with one hand if you want to do your reloads when you're reloading. Nothing else has really changed. So in all honesty, just because I can't get my thumb over here, that really isn't a big deal to me. Okay, but then again, that goes to show you how stupid the California lawmakers are when they pass these bills and they don't know anything about firearms. So, like I said, avoid registration. If you want to do the maglock thing because you really like a telescopic stock and just a regular pistol grip, by all means, do your maglock thing. But for everyone else, I really recommend going featureless. I think it's the best route to stay legal in the state of California. So if you really want, it's not hard to do this, and this is a cheap way to do it. Okay, so if that's your route to take, I think that's the best route to take in the state. All right, if you have any questions, any comments about this or how to do this, just go ahead and leave them in the comments section, and yeah, I'll try to answer them the best I can. I'll also try to make some video of me shooting this weapon later sometime this month, because if you've also followed my channel, you've seen the upgrades I've done overall to my rifle, and so I still need to test out how this compensator works in terms of muzzle rise, muzzle brake, how it just works, if it's better, because the only thing I've had was the A2 bird cage. And then another change I've made, I got the Geisley's SD3G trigger. So I got these during Black Friday, so they were really cheap, good discounts. So I still need to try these out. I'll try to get reviews on them soon, hopefully by the end of the month. And so for everyone, like I said, any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and y'all have a good day.